Guys, welcome to the show. I am Michael-David, your host today. Unfortunately, we are missing our co-host, actually premier host, Anthony Milton, 8-figure CEO of Tilted Concepts. But today, it's not about us. It is about two incredibly busy and drink spilling.
It's okay. White pants.
Female entrepreneurs of Houston, Texas that have faced their own struggles this past year amidst the living the American dream. But we have with us Amanda Abiassi, if I pronounced that correctly.
Yes, sir. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. And Neera
Patidar.
Patidar. Is that correct?
She says it fancy. It's Patidar.
Patidar.
That's the white way.
Yes.
Wow.
Might want to take that out.
Oh, we're going to leave that in. So, ladies, thank you for coming in today. Really do appreciate you coming up all the way up north.
South Dallas. It's cool.
South Dallas. You haven't hit Buc-ee's yet. So you're not really on your way to Dallas until you hit that Buc-ee's threshold. That's kind of the gateway.
It's one exit away.
So, Amanda, both of you guys have been, and of course, I also kind of went through your Instagrams, and you guys go way back. Mm-hmm. Just as a friendship and just in women just making change together. So kind of give us a little backstory, Amanda, what you do and kind of how you two met.
Okay. Do you want to tell the story about how we met initially?
When I was driving down Westheimer?
Yeah.
So it was an early morning, around 4:30, 5 o'clock. I was driving down Westheimer, and I see this girl on the side, one heel on, one heel off. Mascara running down her face, her hair all crazy. And she was
like
crying.
a movie.
So I felt bad, and I was like, do you need any help? And it was Amanda. That's how we first met.
There's a whole lot of
It's a total lie.
Okay.
But that's my story I tell people.
That sounds like a movie script right there, actually. I'm trying to think, what movie did I see?
No, so we met through charity. We actually met through a very good mutual friend of ours. I was doing Jamie's Hope stuff at the time, and so she had brought Neera to one of our kickoff events. And so that's when I initially met her. And then I actually was going through, a really rough time personally. And her and our mutual friend, her name's Angela, we just almost immediately just came together, and they were there for me during that time. And so we built a strong friendship very quickly because it was kind of a really crappy time for me personally. Mm-hmm. So, we hung out all the time from there on. We did events together, all kinds of stuff. And then she actually came onto the board of Jamie's Hope for 4 years, something like that. So we did a lot of that stuff. And then in 2016, she really pushed me to start our own business together called Elevate. So I resigned from Jamie's Hope, and we started that in 2016. And so that is working with professional athletes and their nonprofit organizations. We throw like high-end charity events.
Okay. So let's go back. You mentioned Jamie's Hope. What is that? So
it's a local nonprofit that was started by my best friend from high school in 2012. And it supports, it raises funds for MD Anderson cancer. It's actually targeted therapy cancer research. It's very specific. Mm-hmm. The funding is raised for. And they also help cancer patients and their families who are struggling through their Angel Tree program, or they do Bald is Beautiful, where they take it's primarily women, but they take men and women and children and do these really elaborate, beautiful photo shoots for them, because it's a really hard time when you've lost your eyebrows and your eyelashes and your hair and all that kind of stuff. So they do different programs for them. So it's really, Jamie didn't end up passing. She struggled with cancer since she was 14, and she passed a year and a half ago.
Okay.
So
I have a friend of mine, actually. She reached out to me, did photography for a long time, and her mom was battling cancer and lost her hair, and she asked if I would do a photo shoot with them. And still to this day, Facebook with their memories, and she'll post it. It's a lot of our identities caught up in things on, that we wear and our hair and all that. And they were honestly, of course, you know me, my candid style that I love to do, which you guys just experienced a little bit, was something that she, to this day, it's like you captured my mom. Yeah. Like there's an element when you're able to just embrace where you are and just forget about all that for a bit when all the lights are on you and you just kind of have a little bit of a vacation from all that. You know,
Yeah,
that's incredible. You guys actually set that up because I'd never been asked before, you know, and it was that production. It was hard for me. I had to kind of detach emotionally.
right.
It's tough.
But getting photographs of, you know, a mother and a daughter, you know, and a father together, that is a hugely emotional moment because you know those photos are going to be the legacy that's on a wall. It's going to be a photo album. It's going to be a memory that is forever going to take people back to that emotional.
And it's so special for them.
It is. And that's amazing you guys would set that up.
And on top of it, we bring in makeup artists and just make them look really,
Yeah.
make
The
them
whole
feel really
thing.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've done experiences too. Like one time they got this little boy who was going through it. They were able to link up with the Rockets. And so they took him he got to meet James Harden. Is that his name? Okay. I don't know basketball. So they got him to meet with him. Like they got to go practice on the court with them. And it was actually like in
Wow.
Louisiana. Like they were at an away game or whatever.
Okay.
And so just kind of really cool experiences that they've gotten to do, you know, over the years. So
Now, how did you make those connects? I mean, because that's
well, honestly, at the very okay. So when it comes to the Texans, Jamie of Jamie's Hope, Jamie and her husband Garrick, since the very beginning have had front row seats right behind the Texans at the time defense bench, which is so much better than the offense bench. Offense bench is boring. Anyway, so but now when O'Brien came, he switched them and I mean, anyway, so he made a lot of stupid shit. Anyway, so but just from being on that front row, Jamie is like she's a big sign person. She always makes signs. And we knew, I was friends with Joanna Marks, who is Hannah McNair's twin sister.
Okay.
And so just from having her influence, and then also just being right there, we'd get, you know,
Attention.
yeah, from them. And so just through that, whenever we first started Jamie's Hope, the very first gala we threw was at River Oaks Country Club. In 3 months, I was going to die. But we got several of the Texans players there, and it was, and just from there, that's how it started. And we've just developed relationships with some of them, and
A lot of former players too.
yeah.
So from an entrepreneurial standpoint, a lot of people, you know, really try to do event management and throw parties and things like that. There is a level of, oh my God, can I do this? To how am I going to do this? Right? People sometimes they look at something that they've never done before. It could be huge, but they want it to succeed. What was it that you think got you over the hump of imposter syndrome? Can I do this? To I'm going to do this. Like, what do you think was that nugget, or did you have somebody pushing you like Neera, or was it just second guessing yourself every step of the way?
I think it was, here's a situation, my friend needs help, and I'm going to throw you in the grease, and we're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
It literally was like, especially that first one, because I've always done like parties or whatever, but it would be like at the club, or it, you know, or we did like a derby party, or you know, things like that. Like it was never. It would be like
Not at this scale.
yeah, nothing like that. When you're spending $80,000 on an event, and luckily we had some help with funding and stuff like that to get that started, but I had never walked in the doors of River Oaks Country Club before. Like, and then now here we're throwing this huge event in 3 months
Event, yeah.
in front of all these people who know what the hell this is supposed to look like.
And the event is thrown to raise money, right? You have
Right.
to raise money, auctions and stuff like that. So yeah, so you have to hope that
Major under
you cover your overhead and you raise money.
So did you know going in what this thing was going to cost and what you had to raise? I mean,
No,
really?
no.
The first
Just
time,
to be
no.
super honest, like no. Like it was Jamie had a vision. Her husband, he's does well, and so he was funding the vision. And initially, it was for, you know, her specific type of cancer, but it's so rare. She was like doesn't help enough people, so that's when she started funding the targeted therapy. But no, when it came to like the event stuff, it was crazy. Like just we were working like spending the weekends at the office with like a handful of volunteers.
A lot of volunteers.
It was crazy. But
Wow.
I mean, I guess that's how you learn sometimes. You give me a deadline, I'm going to wait about 3 months before, and then
This is true.
So you thrive in procrastination.
I
She
actually do.
flourishes in procrastination.
It's
I'm laying there like, it's fine.
That's funny because I mean a lot of people, some people have said procrastination is a negative trait. I've heard other people say that it's actually a positive trait because it allows people to focus because they need that intensive pressure.
Push that pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, that they're going to make it. It's
And
almost.
I actually enjoy it.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You don't get like unhealthy anxiety from it?
Yes, she does.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And my husband's like, "Can you balance some shit out, or is this just gonna how our life is gonna be?"
I'm just like, "Here
I'm
you
like,
go."
3 months. I'm like 3 months on, 3 months off. You're fine.
Yeah.
You'll survive.
So after you got your first one underneath your belt, because both of you guys did that together, right?
That was just, I wasn't in the picture at that time.
Okay. So when
She's
did
about a year later.
a year later? So how
She
many
wasn't
had you
blessed by
done?
me yet.
The confidence backbone of the deal here.
That's good. I like that backbone.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
Why are you gonna leave it alone?
Oh God, Neera. Jeez. I see.
Wait, did you sign the waiver that we brought you?
I did not, and I think I should have. I'm
He's
second
like,
guessing
"No,
that
I'm
move now.
regretting
Yeah, very vulnerable at this point. So in that year time after your first event, how many others had you done?
So we immediately after that went into fundraising.
And did it do
for
well by the way?
Yes. It was a success. I don't remember how much exactly we raised, but we were happy with
The results.
It was it was so sweet that Lara Bell, she does absolutely. Oh, I think they just recently changed it. It's a local magazine and memorial.
Just
I'm
for
mad
the
at myself.
memorial
I
area.
can't remember what
Yeah.
it's called. But she actually came up and she was like, "I just want to let you know that I've been to plenty of galas at River Oaks Country Club, and y'all just did an amazing job and transformed the room." And all of a sudden, I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
so sweet!" Like
Was
that was
it-
nice to have
yeah, of
somebody like
course.
that.
Like
No,
Zara.
I was like, "Oh, thank you." I was so overwhelmed. It was very emotional. Just
Get it together,
really,
lady.
I know. But then after that, so we went straight into another raising money or planning an event to raise money for the Angel Tree program.
Which I love that program. Absolutely love it.
So what is that program?
So it's under Jamie Soap, and it is they take families it's usually families who are, you don't know if they're going to even make it to Christmas, or the person that's
Or
under
maybe their last Christmas.
something
Right.
like that. Which we've had several of those, which just kind of sucks because every year when we would get up when we talk about it, it's like we always have to honor somebody that didn't make it the year before. So that kind of that's. Ugh.
Yeah.
We never get through that crap without crying. So, but basically they take the families and they take care of all of their Christmas. And so sometimes it's families that even parking at MD Anderson is insane.
Expensive.
Yeah, it's insane.
to be there
It's like
every
$20
day.
a day
Yeah.
or something crazy. But so they're just really struggling, and we take them and then we find out exactly what they want. So it's not like we're just gathering a bunch of toys and handing it over to them. It's
Sometimes
specific.
it's your bills. It's your
can
wish
be that
list.
too.
It depends on if it's a woman or a child. It's just your wish list.
Yeah.
They pick a certain amount of families, and then we have a gathering. Like we usually do it at Capitol Grill, right?
For many years.
For many years, and they cover like appetizers and like a couple of cocktails. And everyone comes there, and we just raise money. And then when the time comes during Christmas, volunteers are packaging all the gifts, like wrapping them up, and it's like thousands and thousands of gifts, and personally go deliver it to the families.
So a lot of this is based on need. They know what the families need.
Right, 100%.
It's a communication, and they work with like Cindy was the one who normally would do it, but she'd
Jamie's
work.
sister.
Yes,
Okay.
and she'd work with like the caseworkers at the hospitals to make sure, because you do have people that like take advantage of the system.
Right.
Sure.
So we'd work with people who knew the families, who knew their situation, and then find out like if you love this, if it's kids, like what are they into right now, and stuff like that, and then also work with people who there's this one guy that would come and meet Cindy at the Galleria Mall and spend $1,000 on specific things that families needed or whatever. So just
So depending on how much we raise, is how much we can give to. The more we raise, the more families get.
Right.
It's tough to pick.
and the more
though.
families that you can
It's tough to pick though. When you can't say
How do you pick?
it's.
Oh yeah, it's.
I'm not part of that. I couldn't do it.
Oh, no.
It's tough. Yeah.
I'm like no.
I mean, because I can only assume. I mean, I've had some family that have had terminal illness, and they weren't necessarily in a place of need, but I'm sure there are a lot of families that. I mean, it's the medical bills and the treatment, and a lot of them don't have insurance, and so everything's just stacking
Even
up.
with insurance, it's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, what is the audit process when you have these people, whether it be caseworkers? Because I think there's a human level where you don't necessarily want to say you need help,
Mm-hmm.
right? So is it the caseworkers
You don't want
that
to be
go,
a charity. You don't want to be a charity case. Yeah.
right?
That does happen too.
Yeah.
And also, like, what we do is we take the family and then we get their story and then we share their story, right? So there's also an element of okay, do I want my personal pictures out there of my family? And I'm asking for
You're
help. You know,
vulnerable.
like,
you're putting yourself out there, which is tough.
yeah. So some
In an
we've had
age
a
of
couple that-
GoFundMe and
Yeah.
a lot of people would just
Oh my
really
God.
just take
Some of those
advantage.
GoFundMes is so
Yeah.
gross. It's just sad.
So, that was with Jamie's Hope, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you, was that a tough parting? Because you don't work with Jamie's Hope anymore,
Right.
correct?
Yes. It was because I love Jamie. I love what she's doing, the organization. Like, and I felt like if I left, I actually got Cindy on full time.
Her sister.
Yeah, her sister
Okay.
to work with me. But it was just, I was just at a place of severe burnout. It was about 3 years after, and just
Well, that's a hard momentum. To
Do what?
maintain. That's a hard momentum to maintain.
oh yeah. But it's just it's kind of like in a lot of nonprofits, especially nonprofits, you're relying on volunteers, and you're
Yeah.
basically if they're not totally on board with volunteering and really passionate about it, then you're literally just like herding cats. Like it's
Right.
you don't have a good support system, that kind of stuff. So I was just at the point, but yeah, that was really hard on me, on my family. Neera was there the whole time. Like it was devastating to me. Like I went through major emotional crap about leaving there, but I had to do it for
Yeah.
me and for where I was and then
Yeah.
for my family.
Neera, so when you came on, you connected with Amanda about a year in. Had you already had, for those that don't know, you're the owner of Ruggles Black off of Kirby, correct?
Right by Twin Peaks.
Really? Is it really?
Oh, didn't you get so excited all of a sudden?
Is it really?
I saw your face light up. Really? I guess you're going to come by now, huh?
Actually, one of our staff loves your
Oh,
place.
really? Awesome.
She goes there a lot. How long had you had Ruggles before you had connected with Amanda?
I think it's the very beginning.
Really?
Yeah. And well, I had
Yeah, Nosh.
I had Nosh before that, a restaurant before that, in the same location.
Okay.
And that's a year and a half, and then right after that, it was Ruggles Black. Yeah.
How did you even get into the restaurant space as a restaurateur?
Why did I even get into it? I don't recommend it. Don't do it. I mean, it's a love-hate relationship. But my thought process was for my mom. My mom, growing up in a big family, extended big family, she's an amazing cook. And my background is Indian, so she always would make either pasta or enchilada. She'd always have our flavors in it. So she was always very fusion when she cooked.
That is so fantastic.
And growing up, I still remember it was in 3rd grade, and I would always hear her say, like, when everything calms down in life, I want to open up a place one day. And she never did. So I actually did it for my mom.
Okay, so to just up and open a restaurant.
Well, my first company when I was 28, 29 was an energy company. And then from there, sold it. And then I have an importing company, which I still have. And I have an office in China. And then I opened up the restaurant. And then we did
so that gave you the
Elevate.
liquidity to be able to open up the restaurant.
Liquidity and Ruggles Black, my partner, Chef Bruce Molzan, he's been a big influence in the Houston area for about 37 years. Like
Wow.
Ruggles at the ballpark, Ruggles Saks Fifth, like big name.
Ruggles Green.
Ruggles Green,
Yep.
yeah, sold those. Consulted with Ruggles Green, and that's how we connected. And he said, I just love the way you cook. Let's do something together. So his French American and my Indian Asian, we fused it, and we have Ruggles Black.
And it's like food coma. It's so good.
Yeah, when
Very
I was looking at the
healthy.
Instagram,
Yeah.
well, it was the first
Healthy.
keto paleo.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So
A lot of people don't like keto paleo because of the way it tastes, but because we put a lot of our Indian flavors in it, they love it.
It's so good.
Well, that's what Morgan was saying.
Everything's fresh. All the meat, everything. There's no freezer. We don't have a freezer.
Yeah, no
Like I
freezer. So they have to get it that day and cook it that day. So everything is like super fresh.
So are you there every day?
In the beginning, yes, crazy first few years, and then after that, kind of tapered down. My goal is now to expand the concept, and after this pandemic, back there more than I would like to not be.
So is the Ruggles brand, is that a franchisable model, or you just buy the rights to use the name? Like, how did that come about?
No, it's in the process of being a franchisable model. Yeah.
Okay. So how many
But
are
we
there?
own the rights to the name. Yes, correct.
Gotcha. Okay. And how long has that one been open?
7 years.
Wow.
It's been 7 years.
It's gone by fast, huh?
Yes.
Many cocktails.
I'm
in
still
that.
alive. And wearing heels.
At what point did how did you even get into the energy sector? I mean, how did that come about?
Because I've been a nerd most of my life. No, for real.
Okay. Okay.
She's met so many of my high school friends, and they're like, "Yeah, she's a nerd."
No kidding.
Well, we don't know what's happening here, but
Now
she's
I'm
a nerd.
like, calm her down. Can you calm her down?
Like I finished college in 3 years, right? It was one of those things where I just went to like
Where'd you go?
SMU.
Okay.
I know. See?
No, I've my wife's cousin went to SMU actually. I grew up in the Plano, Dallas area. I remember going to that area quite a bit.
I'm not a fan of Dallas.
Yeah, she hates Dallas.
Really?
The people there are just awful.
It's different.
Look at this. Look, she's nodding yes. It's different. It's pretentious and fraud.
Well,
Fake. Just kidding, Dallas. Love you.
oh, since you are
New opening next year.
literally.
I am opening in Dallas. So I'm thinking about the next couple of years. I'm Dallas. Love you guys.
Neera, that's going to be some fun PR. Good job. Way to preface that whole. Yeah, that's pretty
Oh,
funny.
they all love me.
Our PR did cause a PR nightmare.
She did. Our PR. So my PR for
you're
the
welcome.
restaurant is also our PR for our nonprofit events. And she calls us a PR nightmare.
Like, you're welcome. Challenge accepted.
Wow, she must drink a lot.
Oh, yeah, she does. She
It
yells
just
a
does
lot.
a lot. It just does this a lot.
She yells a
Oh my
lot.
God.
She's angry spice. She's like, and we're like, shh, take a sip.
Just keep swallowing.
So you graduated college in early 20s, and how did you end up
Sorry,
early 20s?
it's true. Way early.
How did you end up owning your own energy company?
So I partnered up with a few guys here in town, and my background, hotels, gas stations, like these are all my people. So
That's your
how-
family. That was your family come
friends,
up.
community, everything. Yes.
Okay,
So when the market deregulated in Houston, that was the first thing we went after.
gotcha.
'Cause think about hotels and gas stations. You can't survive without electricity.
Yeah.
But because we had relationships with those communities, that's how we were able to build a business
Okay.
here and in Dallas.
Okay. So with a family that just to come up with all of that, who is probably your biggest inspiration to go, I can do this?
Like from the
I
beginning,
can say your dad.
I was gonna say my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we butt heads quite a bit, but
'Cause
They're
you're
the
alike?
same people. They're the same people.
Yeah.
She's going to be mad that I said that, but they are the same people. Stop looking.
I would just own my child. Calm down. And throughout the years, my mom, and then my son. He's my biggest reason to keep hustling.
How old's your son?
15.
My son turns 15 next month.
How exciting, right?
It is weird.
Hey, I was gonna say that too, but
He's
It
so
is
big.
So strange.
yeah, it feels weird. I'm like, that's not mine.
First
Yeah.
off, you're not like, that's not, you're like, that's not mine.
Yeah, yeah, that's true now.
He's like 3 inches taller than you now.
Okay, why do we gotta go there?
Okay, good. Real life. I'm like, ha ha ha. I'm like, now she's like yelling up. "Grr." I'm like, shh, calm down, Pip. Chihuahua.
Chihuahua. So rude. See, I don't know why I put up with you.
So Neera, do you have siblings?
Mm-hmm.
How many?
2. I'm the youngest of 3. My sister, my brother, and then me.
Okay. So as you were growing up, did you guys was it kind of following the family where you just worked a lot? Were you kind of in the family business of whatever your family was doing?
So my
your dad and your mom?
sister married into the family business, which is hotels.
Mm-hmm.
My brother decided not to be part of it, so he's in IT because he just didn't want to because of my dad. And then I just ventured on my own path, which wasn't acceptable in the household, but it was fine.
Really?
They now accept me and love me.
Why is that?
My dad was a very anti-restaurant. He was like, nope, that's not a good business.
Bad experience?
No, just financially, money-wise, like
It's a big risk.
it's a big risk, yeah. And he's all about taking big risks, but not in that department.
Okay.
Too much. What's the word? Like he'll take a big risk on a big investment,
Mm-hmm.
but not on when there's
Too many variables.
yes, correct. That's the right word.
Mm-hmm.
Because of you depend on your staff.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
You depend on a server to give you a good or bad reputation.
Yeah.
Which is tough. It's like having 40 babies
Yeah.
at one time.
Yeah. Sam's like,
Sam knows about that, huh?
yeah, Sam knows about that.
Babysitting adults.
So when you stepped into the energy sector, and it's kind of especially in Houston, kind of a good old boys club.
Oh, yes.
Ooh,
Let's dig into that. Like, how did you almost
Everything I've done is good old boy clubs. Even the restaurant.
She wishes she was a man.
I am a man. I've grown some balls. I can't show you right now, but I will later.
Oh, my darling.
Stay tuned to watch her Instagram. It'll be on an Instagram story for like 24 hours.
Get on it.
So when you stepped into that, what was probably one of the hardest things you had to overcome, when you stepped into it?
Being a woman, just not taking you seriously, thinking like, okay, whatever. She doesn't know. Yeah. For sure.
What was the,
Still till this day.
What was probably the first milestone that you achieved that caused the good old boys to go, damn?
When I went to China and opened an office and said, go fuck off. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people would probably say, well, gosh, you have to do this, you have to know how to do that,
Right.
you have to know these channels. And
mind you, when I did do that and I came back, I worked with a really big real estate company, which I'll not name the asshole. And then I got pregnant and I had a baby. And literally within 6 weeks, I was right back. And what he had done while I was 6 weeks gone, he stole my business.
Wow.
I started all over again. Yeah. It was the most devastating moment in my life. All because, and I really do believe it's because he thought he could do whatever he could because I was a woman. And that's what was my turning point in my head. I started all over again, breastfeeding my child in the back of my car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Humbling and charging at the same time, because it's like, how did this happen to me? How did I let this happen to
100%,
me?
Yeah.
Because that's
But
clearly
if
that
I
was
had to do it all
absolute
over
trust.
again, I would do it the same way because it taught me a lot. I would do it the same way. It's hurtful and devastating, and it was a bad point in my life. But I would do it again.
Was it just a level of partnership that you just didn't see some tendencies that would have happened?
Yes. Which made me very smart after that.
Trusting.
Was there a gut feeling though at some point you're thinking
100%. And my problem is, doesn't matter what it is, listen to your gut. I always like push it away and be like, no.
Neera,
Like,
stop. Leave your gut alone.
yeah, no, not anymore. And if you don't like it, too bad. I feel it, so I'm not gonna go down that path.
It's funny because when you don't listen to your gut, you end up gaining a lot of lesson and wisdom from it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still at the same point, why didn't I listen to my gut?
Correct.
Because it could have avoided some really crazy headache.
Gotta love that hindsight.
Yeah.
I had that.
Yeah.
I got into business with a guy that I knew in my gut was the wrong move. But I was so optimistic with the mission that I was trying to accomplish. You kind of let that overcompensate and
Correct.
you keep saying, that's doubt. That's,
Yes, doubt or fear.
Mhm.
Yeah. You give it different titles when at the end of the day, it was just your gut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you seem to look at fear, and both of you too. And as I'm getting to know you guys a little bit here, fear is the one thing you look right in the eyes and go, watch me.
Oh, absolutely.
It's almost like if there's not fear, there's no challenge.
That should be every day.
Here's the difference between her and me, though. She will do that, but I need a support system to help me get through that, to get over that, to say, you can do this. What is wrong with you? Like, why are you feeling this way? And that's my husband and Neera. Like, they push me to be better. And she just like, I am Lone Ranger. I've got this. Fuck off. Rah.
Well, I've gone through a lot. I went through a lot to a point where my parents disowned me for a while, and I was homeless, like literally homeless. Like her walking on Westheimer, that was me. Taking a bath in Barnes & Noble, like at 22. So things like that, because I knew what I was doing wasn't wrong. I knew I was right, but my dad was so well known in the community, literally like mafia. And he was just not having my behavior of wanting to not get married. It's just as simple as that.
It's that
Really?
culture.
And my parents are very modern. They're very cool, very modern. But they were so worried about what people were going to think about me and look at them and reflect on my mom. Look how you raised your daughter.
And that's a huge thing in their culture that I didn't know anything about until I became friends with her. But like, that's so much of they're worried about what other people
My
think.
parents are my best friends because they had to overcome and I had to walk away from them for 2 years.
So when you were growing up, just with your dad's hustle and him building the family,
And he hustled, yeah.
the family coffer, if you will, you kind of had a safety net, and then, right?
Yeah.
So you're kind of used to a certain lifestyle, going to school, anything you needed you could get, but then all of a sudden,
Not quite, because we lived in a house of 21 people. So my dad was the only caretaker. I mean, the only financial, yeah.
wow.
His siblings, they're my cousins. Oh, yeah.
So she raised like her 6 cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a lot of work.
A lot.
But financially, yes, the safety net was there.
Yes,
Right.
for sure.
But then it comes down to the point where you just said, I'm not getting married.
yeah, I just, no.
Was your family trying to push you to get married? Like,
Yes, the next step after college is get married.
And then you said, nope.
Yeah, I said I just wanted to live life. I wanted to explore. I wanted to do something. He was like, nope.
Was it several conversations or one big one?
It was a couple of years of conversations.
Okay.
Yeah, like taking things away from me, or, I mean, when I came back from SMU, I was still pretty young, and so I went back to school. I went to UH, and there was just like, no apartment for you. You got to drive back from home, and you got to give back to the family. Like, it was just one of those things, which you just did out of respect. And then I just had too much. And then it was just too enough. I literally ran away in the middle of the night, and with the backpack.
And how old were you?
21. Just turned 21. Yeah.
I did that. When
And I
was
never
like
and I never went
16, and they found me the next day.
Walking along Westheimer.
She's like, they found me the next day in the garage.
I was at my friend's house. Leave me alone.
Yeah, and my sister was like, you're a piece of shit. My brother was like, you're a piece of shit. You're betraying the family, and my gut told me, no, I'm not. It was like a learning lesson for all of us. Yeah.
Do you think now looking back, your dad gained a lot of respect for you because of
100%.
that?
100%. Yes.
Because I think that's one of the
My dad's a very
takeaways.
controlling person,
Right.
and he has a hard time controlling me, and that's what bothers him.
But that's also what's driven him too, is in the face of.
By the way, if he heard this, he'd be so mad at me right now, but it's okay.
But it's
You won't hear it.
He needs some hearing.
This is exactly. See, this is why we can't have a podcast.
I think this
I
is the
won't
reason.
say it on my podcast.
This is the reason why I think you do need a podcast. Coming up as female entrepreneurs and looking at taking massive risks in a Good Old Boys network in Houston that is truly a good old boy city.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
Yes.
And there, for lack of being chauvinistic, I mean, it's everything you watch over history, even through TV shows, and it's always a male-dominated business, right? And
Correct.
the female role is always the secretary. It's the gopher.
I mean, look at Sam over there. Just kidding. Look what you're doing to Sam.
But she got a good old boy name.
I'm gonna just Sam. You want to swap? Let's just. I don't.
Girl.
Dang.
It is a challenge. Even in the restaurant, it was a challenge. Like, they just, Indian princess, her daddy's money. That was the title in articles everywhere. London-born beauty, which makes me want to vomit because that's not how I see myself. But never took it seriously. They wouldn't. Big chefs in the city would come to my doorstep, look inside, and be like, okay, walk off, and be like, it should be shut down anytime soon. That kind of crap.
Isn't that crazy? People are so.
And now
shitty.
you're working at HEB. Bye, bitch.
Well, that was
patience?
very specific.
But I know. Yeah.
You've rehearsed that. That's been going on up here.
Uh-huh. But you know what? I always say patience when it comes to stuff like that. When as much it's upsetting or it angers you, just be patient and always smile, no matter how you're feeling. Even if you run into them, hey, how are you? Knowing how they treated you, it's okay.
That's
I'll
true.
rise above and have patience.
How people react in the face of challenge tells more about who they are than the other people, right? Because it's how we choose to respond to those situations.
Right.
Circumstances, people are never going to go the way that we expect. Our own expectations is typically are set up for disappointment because we're expecting the world to operate the way we will.
Correct.
They just won't. But when there's that, you realize, going by your gut, I've always believed that the only true differentiator with anybody is actions. Actions are the separator. People can tell you all day long they're going to be there, going to do this, or going to do that, but it's actions. People say they want a promotion, they want to own their own business, they want to do this and that, they want to achieve all these great
Actions speak
things.
louder than words. It is
Right.
the true definition of that.
And who's
I do
really
agree.
loyal?
In every way.
Right?
Yeah.
to your mission, to your business, to the cause, to the customer, is action. Do you show up every day and really treat this as if it's your own business, right? That's the differentiator. For you, both of you, in your journey of what brought you two together is kind of this incredible symbiotic journey of needing both types of personalities to really do something together.
That's true. You're welcome.
Clearly, Neera is the gift.
I'm glad you noticed.
I mean,
I put a bow on that bitch.
She actually would. Don't encourage
This
it,
is true.
please.
but for other, and it hasn't gone away, right? There's still the stigma of just a lot of good old boy clubs, right? That favor.
But there's also a stigma of women just being so ridiculously insecure. Even if you don't even know who they are, you just meet them, immediately judge.
Where do you think that comes from?
I don't know. That's a great question because it's really sad. It just happened. I was just talking to her about it last night. She barely saw this woman, met her. Immediately she was like, didn't like me. Why?
Like to where her friend had to take her outside and be like, what is your problem? Like that.
Yeah, it's weird.
But it is what it is. You have to deal with
Poise, the way you carry yourself, it intimidates people,
it. That's true.
right?
One of the things my mom said to me, like 6th, 7th grade, I was tomboy and a nerd, right? So she said there's always going to be
Really?
someone.
I have to see a picture.
Oh, it's just basically her child.
Yes.
Armand had it until what,
He's like, I
2
gotta
or
see
3
this
years
tomboy
ago.
picture.
Yeah. He used to have
I didn't
real
want to
long
make him
hair.
till college.
Really?
Yes, I was always in sports because
She had
that's,
that- she always
was
had
my
that booty,
outlet.
though.
In a big family, and then growing up in schools that were predominantly white and always being put down because of where you're from or your skin color, which I know you think is funny, but it's true.
I don't think it's funny.
No, you're like, what you girl? You white girl?
For real, she is. She's not really this color, by the way. She's, hold on, let me find a non-spray tan spot. She's like that color.
That's
Real
nice.
life. It's okay. I'm content.
But that was my outlet. So for me, that was the way, because when you come home from school and you got 20 people in the house, the last thing, you can't sit there and say like, well, someone said you're going to hell because you're not Christian, You just didn't. You just overcame it and you figured out how to do it. And for me,
Stuff
it was
it down.
sports. Yeah, stuff it down. For me, it was sports.
Was it hard growing up to just embrace your culture?
I love my culture. No, I mean, my culture is everything to me. That defines me. That's who I am.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
For you, Amanda, coming up, because and I heard you say you were born in London. Is that right?
She fancy.
She bougie.
Yeah. 100%.
Hey,
Well, hey, my parents were born and raised in Africa.
Yeah. So
Really?
she's like, I'm black, bitch.
Well, from the back.
This is true.
This is true.
However, she's lost a lot of weight, so her
Oh
booty's
my
gone
God,
down.
you make it sound like I was some fat fuck before.
No, but you've lost her booty. His booty's gone.
No, it's not. I'm doing squats.
She's lying.
You
She's
can take
not
that out
doing
of
I think that
squats.
actually builds the booty, but
It doesn't.
doing squats.
She doesn't do squats. She's lying.
Yes, I am at home.
I'm asking Armand.
When I pick up the remote off the floor from last night.
Oh. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
We digress.
We digress. When you then got in the energy sector, then you opened up your office in China and you had to reboot, you had to start all over again. This is what, the second time you've had to kind of restart in your young adulthood,
Yeah.
right? So when did because you sold your energy company, right? And then you got into the restaurant business,
Yes.
right? Was there a brief time of when you sold, or why did you sell? Was there an
I was
instigator?
bored.
Really?
It's like it already went to its peak, right? And I was
Okay.
like, I want to do something else.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that whole startup with that energy company, was that, that was all yours that you walked away with. Was there?
No, there was partners in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was like 9 people. It's a
Gotcha.
lot. All men, only female.
Really?
Yeah.
When you sold it and you cashed out, were you sitting there going, what am I going to do?
No, because I already decided I was going to do the importing business, design. Yeah.
Okay. And so what's the importing business?
So I started doing working with home builders, custom home builders, doing like faucets and tiles and fixtures. Yes. So my business plan was taking your budget and upgrading it. And most of them were like, you can't do that. Like upgrading your home with all these fixtures without crossing your budget line.
Okay.
And so they were selling their houses before they were built just because of what was in it, because of my stuff that I was bringing in.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the market crashed.
in 08, 09? Mm-hmm.
So it went down to like 20, 25 builders to 5.
Wow. How did you even step into that space? Because that, I mean, going from the energy sector to now building
Because I've
materials.
always liked design.
Okay.
Yeah.
You should see our place. It's
my
ridiculous.
Your house? Really?
My box,
Condo? What do you even call
my
it?
green box.
Anyways, it's in a high rise.
Box.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You like the high rise life?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
After 16 years in a home, I don't want to be in a home anymore.
It took her a while to get through that, though.
Yeah, I did. It was.
She went through a major depression. I was like,
did.
your hair's falling out. You might want to get it together.
Really?
Well, my main reason for it was my son was younger, and I was always at the restaurant, so it was more of a safety for him. But I didn't like the fact of people can see you go in and out. Like, I liked the idea of just going in the garage, close your door, and you're home.
Right.
But now they're seeing you like,
No, she likes the idea of taking him to school in the morning with her booty shorts and no makeup on. But now she has to go down the elevator.
yeah,
See everybody in the
damn,
lobby.
with the booty shorts.
I'm like, just let valet take him to school. It's fine.
Let valet take you to school. No, that's my
First, if
baby.
they're bored, they would love to.
It was more like that, just that.
It's a security aspect.
Yes.
Everybody knows him in the building. He's always, I mean, it's one time, like this one time my son came over with some friends and they were going to go to the pool and hang out. This is like a year ago or something. And then they came in, their vehicle or whatever. And then valet would not give them their keys back because they're like, they called us and they were like, are they allowed to leave? Like, what's happening? I'm like, oh, thank you for that. But yes, they're allowed to leave.
Yeah, they're really good about making sure
Yeah.
that everyone's safe,
So that's been
great.
actually a major blessing.
Yes, big
Being
blessing.
there. So now she's accustomed to the high rise life and now she won't go back.
But I need a bigger space.
She does. Oh my God.
Really?
You come over for dinner and you'll see it.
Yes, you should.
No, seriously. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, great.
And
My
you can
wife
see
would love
where,
that.
and yes, and you can see where we're gonna do our podcast.
And you can give us advice.
Yeah, you'd be like, y'all,
You'd be like, y'all
stupid.
crazy.
100%.
100%.
Oh, I see what you did there,
See what
boo.
I did there? Yeah.
That was good.
So for both of you, for a lot of female entrepreneurs that are wondering what they could do, because you've done a lot of different things, right? And figuring out, and clearly you're not and I was actually talking to some managers this morning within our company, and a couple of them got promoted. And it's kind of scary when you step into something new, right? And you either lean into it and remind yourself of the things you have accomplished, which when it's something new, you just have to remind yourself what you've done. You're resourceful, you're figure-outable, right? So you have to lean on that part of your history to be able to lean into what your unknown future may be without not knowing all the details, but
unknown.
You're going to figure out how to open up an office, how to create, the import business. You're going to figure it out, right? Yes, you'll make mistakes, but when you fall flat on your face, you're still moving forward.
Yeah, and also
Right.
leaning on your resources. Who do you have around you that can help?
100%. Yeah.
That's huge.
And that's what both of you guys have had to do through your ventures, right? So Amanda, when, before you did the event management, got with Jamie, what experience had you had that kind of equipped you to be able to do this?
So it was just events that were much lower on the totem pole as far as like, so I love people. I love hanging out. I love socializing.
Very social.
I'm a very outgoing kind of person. And so like, even back to when I was like 18, my thing was like, oh, I'm going to find a way to throw a theme party and make it like a marketing type thing for a restaurant or a club or whatever it was. And so that's literally, I had 10% of the knowledge that I needed to have to throw that first gala. Then we threw a golf tournament.
Yeah.
I don't even know the terminology of golf. And so I was like, my backup plans always get people drunk and they won't know where you fucked up. It's fine. So I'm like, this is why I can't throw church events. It's like communion, hole 4.
Though she has
Communion,
been
hole
doing
5.
some church events, so don't play.
Social gatherings. Fine, they're very sweet people.
Take a sip.
When you come to a point where you don't know to do something, you don't know how to do something, do you immediately, what's your mental process of going, who do I know? Or where do you go to find that solution? Like what's within your process of being figure-outable? Because when you don't know something, it's not in your context of experience.
You ask.
Yeah.
Never be afraid to ask. Nothing wrong with that. You ask.
And
A lot-
research.
a lot of people feel like, and I come across
beneath
a lot
them, or
Yeah.
that's going to make them look bad. No.
No, you look bad when you don't ask.
Yeah.
You look like an idiot when you screw up because you didn't pull in the people that are around you
Yeah.
and the resources that you have. You look like a prideful shit.
when you step into
ego.
Yeah. Major.
when you step into a male-dominated industry, even ethos of a city, who do you go to for help? When you're kind of stepping in uncharted territory, you don't really have your family support. Who do you go to for help?
I guess it depends on what the subject is, what the subject matter is. It just depends. And then you go to we have such a great circle of people, a network that respect, and they come to us too, and we go to them. So it just depends on what it is. Like, we want to do a podcast. Amanda says she talk to you. As simple as that. Nothing wrong with learning from other people. But so many people are so arrogant and egotistical that they're like, no, I'll figure it out. Well, that's just stupid.
I think it's an insecurity
Absolutely,
of how people are going
100%.
how people are going to view them.
Yeah.
It is, but it is stupid. But a lot of us have to get over that, right? Like, we've developed that.
That's at a
pride
point when
issue.
you really need to figure something out, you do. But it's not at a point where, take. That you know what I mean? When you're just taking from people, because you can't do that either. At some point you have to give, or you just gotta figure it out. Sometimes you just gotta figure it out. No one can help you. Just figure it out.
Do you guys deal with a lot of, and I'm not going to call them haters, but people that give unsolicited opinions about what they think you should do or shouldn't do?
Not
All the
me.
time.
She does. I'm fine. Everything's fine with me.
Liar. You're such a fraud. Put that ice in your mouth.
She does.
No, we both do. But yes, somebody always wants to give you advice or tell you how to do it better or what you're doing wrong, all constantly. You just nod your head, smile, and inside your head you say "fuck off," but you just nod your head and smile. Okay.
Has there ever been an unsolicited opinion that was actually true, that was actually helpful?
You can't chew ice in the microphone.
Sorry, my bad.
Unsolicited opinions for me, I'm
sure
always
there's
torn.
been plenty. I'm sure there's been plenty.
Yeah.
When I was like, what? And then I thought about it or whatever. And you're like, you know what?
Like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
100%.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
And then you go back and you say, you know what? I was mad at you, but thank you.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Got me thinking in a different way.
Which is great. I think.
But that's also our ego, our pride that we have to get over and realize, okay, that person,
Yeah.
I appreciate
But then
that.
acknowledge it too. And be like, you know what, by the way, thank you for that. Acknowledge it. Always acknowledge, whether you agree with it or not, but acknowledge it. Because any good or negative advice is learning. It's constant learning. You're constantly learning. There's no such thing as I've learned enough. You're constantly learning.
The journey of life.
Even when you're 80, you're just learning every day. Something. You're learning.
Man, these layers getting peeled back right now. This is just amazing.
Oh, it's an onion.
I love
A
onions.
huge onion.
Big old onion.
Big ol' onion.
So dealing with celebrities, do you have a lot of friends that volunteer because they just want to make a connect?
Not friends, randoms. So there's been several times where we have events where there's lots of people that want to volunteer and they come in, and then there's actually been times where we have to dismiss them during events because they're just trying to
Inappropriate behavior.
Yeah, they're trying to run around and
there's a lot of people that really, like Monique, really
she's amazing.
love to help. They want to help. They want to see.
And it's not about celebrity for them.
Absolutely not.
It's about just helping good causes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be something that's super specific to them. They just
have a
amazing
heart like
people.
that.
My girlfriend Monique is one of those, and she's alongside. I met her through Jamie's Hope, and through Facebook, she reached out to me and we had lunch, and then she sent me a thank you card for having lunch. I was like, I will never forget that. And so I'm like, literally, who does that? But she's a very good friend now, very good friend, and every event we have, she comes in and steps up and is our right hand.
Oh yeah, beyond right hand. Without her,
Yeah.
half his events would be tough to do. She's just amazing.
In a culture of dealing with volunteers to get a mission accomplished, how do you maintain a culture of people that maybe aren't necessarily on board with the mission? They're just there to help in some way. But sometimes people can kind of lose their steam when they don't really feel like they're getting a return from it necessarily. How do you maintain that culture when you're getting ready for a big event? And the closer you get, the more exhausting it is. There's more and more to do. Time demands get even more. And
Punch him in the throat.
Okay.
Or the pussy. But, swells up, then their pants don't fit. I don't know what's
And then
happening.
you got to ignore it. You just have thick skin.
But also, we honestly, with our events, don't use a whole lot of volunteers leading up to the event.
No. Yeah,
it's more on site during the event.
At the moment, yeah.
But we've also, actually, there's Jamie's Hope. Like, there are certain people who have been there since the beginning, and they're just this core group of women, and we have just developed a friendship through that. And so they will come day of. They know how we've ran things, like so. They step up and they come in and help. And then when they recommend people, then we bring them on. Every blue moon, we will have a random person that's because it's a celebrity event. And we just have to dismiss them if there's an issue.
Right.
Yeah.
So how many events have you guys done so far?
Oh God, making us count? I don't know.
8, 9, maybe 10.
Big ones.
Big ones, yeah.
And then we do
Huge
smaller
ones.
things, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So the big elephant in the room is, how did 2020 impact both of you guys? Because one is the event,
Right.
which
All
now
of them
you
were canceled, right?
Yeah.
What the hard part was is seeing canceled, like Angel Tree, like seeing that stuff canceled for families, that's tough.
Yeah.
Or for Wade Smith Foundation, raising money to build libraries or educate young kids. I mean, all that stuff is canceled. So that's tough to see that's not happening
And
this year.
scholarships. And the kids, like, we discussed, like, kids are still going to college. They still have this stuff going on. But if you don't have the funds to award those scholarships and things like that, like,
Yeah.
and that's what we've dealt with this year.
And all these companies that have supported us, like our title companies and stuff that supported us, they no longer can do it, right? Because our first priority is to keep their own business afloat. Donating was extra. And when you can't do that anymore, it's tough.
Was there a way to try to create virtual events? Because I've seen a lot of people do virtual expos and virtual this and virtual that.
It was towards the end, right? You can do like virtual auctions maybe.
Right.
But we did like the
doesn't
Houston
do what-
Texans watch game, right?
Yeah, the watch party.
Yeah, watch parties. So
We did for
stuff like
Wade
that.
for, like, just kind of supporting him, connecting him. And so we did that.
Trying to do small
It
little
raised
things, yeah.
a few $1,000, like
lot,
$5,000 or something
yeah.
like that.
But
But
it's better than nothing.
better than nothing, but that's half of a scholarship. It's nothing like they could normally do. They couldn't have their Wade's weekend where they do the huge, bust all the kids in. A lot of them are underprivileged and do this whole day for them.
Like a field day.
It's the face-to-face. It's the close proximity,
yeah,
access, right?
And
That's,
people,
And these are babies. These are kids.
yeah, and people look forward to our events. They're like, when do you guys do another one? Because they know that it's like super 5-star. It's amazing what we do. Yeah. So that's kind of disappointing too. But we just have to wait.
Luckily, Jamie's Hope, like I told you, Garrick, he did step up and he took the few families that reached out because there wasn't a big outreach.
Yeah.
Trying to find families just because we couldn't do fundraising.
But he personally did, right?
So he personally stepped up and paid for, underwrote the families that had reached out.
no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he still did that, so, and Wade will still do the same thing. Like if he's got kids that are like, because he goes through that process. Like it's a major process of finding these kids, working with different schools, of like interviewing them, seeing what they do outside of just academics and how they step up beyond their circumstances where they should normally be like, you don't have parents making you do these things, right? Staying on top of you. You're just, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
So he goes through that process. So there's probably a lot of juniors that he knew from last year that were in the running for
striving to get this and they write their essays, and now they're like, can't do it, right?
But he is also one too that would step up, and
Yes,
if
100%.
that is the situation, he'll underwrite that as well.
I remember years ago, this was before J.J. Watt was a big name, right? And there was a family, I think it was 3 or 4 kids, and the parents were tragically killed, I think, in a car accident or something. And he had been, I think somebody got wind of it. This was like a year or 2 after it had happened, and he had been supporting them, like making sure they were taken care of, put scholarships in place for them, helping it was either grandparents or aunts and uncles that became the caregivers for these kids, and JJ was supporting them. And it's things like that even a lot of players do that nobody really knows about. It's not about the optics. It's not about the PR
it's not
move,
about
right?
the attention. It's about just from your heart.
Do you ever find that a lot of players, they want some anonymity whenever they support?
Of course. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of them that do it just for that.
Right.
100%. 90% of players do it just for that, for sure.
In an age where, professional ball players, like we had Austin Dean in here that, was drafted out of high school for the major league. baseball, and when you get called, typically when they play in the minors, I didn't even know this, that these guys are, they're eating bologna sandwiches and Totino's pizza rolls. These guys are making less than McDonald's worker, right, when they're in the minors.
That's
a lot of these guys wouldn't eat for 2 weeks, because a lot of them that come from like Dominican Republic and other countries, they're sending money home.
That's right.
So they don't even eat.
That's right.
Right, just trying to get their break. When you, in an age where a lot of people look at players as these endless money pits, and some maybe to a degree, others who are making league minimum, still great money, but with the average career 3.5 years,
right,
these guys are getting hit up all the time, right? Like,
they get a lot of asks. Yes.
How do you help them? Because you said you partner with these athletes and causes and try to do some good things with them. How do you typically, like, is there an athlete you're going to go, we want to partner with him? Or how does that relationship
Well, there's some
get
athletes
connected?
that wanted to do stuff with us and we said no.
Really?
We even say no, just because of your behavior, your attitude, your outlook on it. Yeah.
Right.
But you're also, this is a partnership.
It's a partnership.
true
Like,
partnership.
you have to be hands-on.
Yeah.
This is
You
about
have
your
to-
charity.
Yeah.
It's not just writing a
hands-on.
check. This is
No.
their name on it. This is their thing.
No,
right?
it's got to be hands-on. Like,
Gotcha.
you have to, like, put some muscle in it.
Who's probably the one player that has impressed you guys the most through your fundraising?
Chris Myers, we love him. And Wade, because we're good friends with him now. But, yeah. Chester Pitts.
Great
They're man,
very just good people. And they
Just
just
really
have a
good
passion.
hearts,
They don't have to do that. They don't have to do this. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's no joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Chester, I met him years ago and ended up getting him and Paul Wall together for a photo shoot
that's
for
fun.
Dub Magazine.
That's fine.
And that was the funniest conversation to overhear him and Paul just kind of rapping back and forth. Two of the unlikeliest people to like sit there and kind of, chop it up. But I crossed paths with Chester again a couple of years ago when I was running an ad agency down in the Galleria, and he was working at ZT Wealth upstairs. But I remember being at his house one day, and we were just talking about playing, and he's offensive player, and he's like, you don't really get all the hype and the glory, and
Correct.
you do a lot of work. And he goes, but you're just one play away from having your career done, and
It's true.
I was listening. I was in my car. This funny Chester Pitt story, because Chester has connected with so many people over the years. He's
Yeah.
such a good guy.
He is.
You just want to hug him. Like, I don't know what it is about
Teddy
Chet. He is. He's ever since that commercial with him and Ephraim. with I Play the Oboe.
Yeah,
right, the
yeah,
NFL
yeah,
commercial. But we were at his house one day, and he goes, it's just, you just never know. Like, you give it all you've got. He goes, the hardest thing is to see a lot of these players come in and they're making league minimum, but they're trying to live a lifestyle like these $1 million players, and because they're broke in no amount of time. And he said it's hard to get these guys to just be responsible with the opportunity they have, because it could be one season, could be 5 reps on the field, and then it's over from one good hit or one bad hit, right? And I remember when he got hurt, and he invited my son and I up to sit in the box with him, and he's got his leg up and everything, and everybody's like, "Hey, Chester," and high five and all that, and we're sitting in a little balcony part, and I looked at him and I said, "This sucks, doesn't it?" He goes, "Yeah, just sucks," because he was trying to come back, and his goal was just make the Pro Bowl. That was it. And I remember I was listening to the radio, and Rula was saying how much she loved Chester, and she saw the commercial, and
Right.
so I text Chester. I said, "Hey, Chester, Rula right now is like all about Chester Pitts," and I said, you want to try to do like a surprise connect? He was like, "Make it happen." So I called Eric, the producer, reached out to him, and then they led up to like this week surprise.
He's on the show all the time now.
Yeah. So that's how that started.
That's so
crazy enough,
funny.
right?
Wow.
And I remember,
What a great story.
yeah, and you
So
just,
you made the connect, basically. You
Yeah.
made the connect. That's awesome.
yeah,
That's
it
so
was,
cool.
it was really, why wouldn't you want to do that for somebody?
We'll have to take a group picture and send it to him.
That would be really cool.
Some of us.
But he had such a forward thinking, mind. Even, he lived in the smallest house in the block where all the players lived. But he was so smart, and I remember I kept thinking, man, this guy's gonna end up in broadcasting. He has the face, he has the voice, he has the personality. And then when I remember seeing him on, what was it, ABC 13, I think, is that the channel that he was doing the sports on?
Oh, I don't know. I don't watch.
He was always plugging, I think it was Joss A. Banks that was doing his wardrobe
Yeah.
and stuff. But it's guys like him that you're like, what else can I do to help this guy?
Yeah.
you know, and Chester is just one of many. But for you guys, like I mean, I'm sure Chester is one of those guys that whatever you need is just kind of there, whether visible or not, right?
Yeah.
There's
He's
a lot of
definitely,
players like
yeah.
that.
I mean, we did his event in,
The bowling event.
was it
Yeah.
2015?
Yeah.
His bowling event.
That was like awesome
That was.
in terms of what he was making and what we did raise.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I think it was like three times what he had made before.
Wow.
And just combining our networks. And it was monsooning the night of the event.
Oh, wow.
Literally monsooning. But he ended up getting like 4 or 5 news stations out there. Like, you know,
Wow.
you have those connects, you have those networks. You've got to pull your resources together for the foundation, right?
Yeah.
So it was awesome. But yeah, he's a great guy.
Neera, how have you weathered 2020 with Ruggles? Yeah.
So, as much as that was stressful, we did great. Like our to-go was fantastic. I mean, we were obviously, there's a lot of fear there because it's unknown again, right? It's an unknown. Like overnight you're shut down, but you can do to-go. And so I think everybody was scrambling, more worried about staff, like taking care of our staff. So we kind of rotated. So we had 2 people in the kitchen and then 1 person taking orders, right, for the to-go. So we rotated them so everyone had like something coming
Was
in.
that a downsized kitchen staff?
Yes, for sure.
From normally how many in the kitchen on any given day?
Normally 10, 12 people in the kitchen.
Okay.
In front of the house, about 15,
Yeah.
16. Yeah. Downsized to 3.
Wow.
Yeah. 2 in the kitchen, 1 taking orders.
That must have been hard.
Yeah, it was because you don't know. You're like, what are we gonna do? You know, like, but then it slowly started flourishing again, and then people were doing to go like crazy. So we were, when your overhead is cut that much, then you don't feel the hit so bad.
But your rent didn't get cut. I mean, a
No.
lot of these other operational expenses didn't get cut.
It was up to the landlord to say, hey, I'm gonna, you know, like relax on the rent or something. But even though they offered that, we didn't. We kept paying our rent.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it your own coffers that you had, or did you get the PPP? You know, how did you operationally?
We got a PPP. Yeah, we did. We didn't use all of it, so we did give some of it back. But whatever we needed, just for staff, that was it. Yeah.
How long before you guys ended up kind of becoming? Are you guys back full steam?
Like, I'm exhausted. Full steam.
Really?
Yeah.
When did you kind of come back 100%?
June.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, things were still kind of throttled.
May
but-
1st. We were allowed to reopen May 1st with those percentages, right? 25%, 50%. But yes, we were full
Did
force.
you think that was the right call to make as a governor to tell your business that you could operate at 25%, 50%?
I don't agree with it, but it is what it is. I don't agree with it. Mind you, we had plenty of complaints of people. So we'd have health department, fire department constantly coming to the door because people complain like they're not doing 25% or they're not 25% and 6 feet apart. I'm like, I have 3 people in my restaurant. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, the
Doesn't make
socially
sense.
conscious Karens
Yeah.
calling and reporting on you.
Mm-hmm.
That seems
It's not even the governor. It's that dumbass. What's her name?
Karen.
Dora the Explorer.
Dora the Explorer.
What's her name? The judge? No, what
fine.
the fuck her name is? Sorry, you take that out. What's her name?
I don't remember.
The
her
local
name.
lady that's trying to make trying to overstep the governor. Judge.
Oh, Hidalgo.
Yes, she's a nightmare. I'll tell you that. She's a nightmare. She's actually hurting the economy. She needs to go. We can take that out, right?
Business owners, private business.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just from the Constitution of the state of Texas, a business is given the full rights as an individual to be able to be restricted. That's where a lot of places didn't close, right? I mean, there's a gym owner in New Jersey that has remained open since day one, and he's been tacked on a $15,000 fine per day. Oh my gosh! And he's been taken to court. They've tried to shut him down. They boarded him up. They arrested him. Just keeps tacking it up.
Jeez.
It's like this mission.
But it's not forcible.
Yeah.
Like you're just trying to scare them.
Right.
Yeah.
And his point is stand up. Like it's your right to
Absolutely.
have a business. Stand up.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if people don't want to come, okay. If you feel your health is at risk, then don't
Exactly.
go out. Right.
Right.
Stay home.
We
But yeah, you still go out and you still bitch and moan and you still complain and then they come. They got to check it out, and then they have to leave. It's just dumb. Stay home.
I think the irony, my wife and I, we were going to California a few weeks ago with our 20-month-old little boy, and we were at Bush Airport, and we're waiting to get our baggage, our luggage there. And my wife and I were not paying attention. I mean, we're wearing a mask and whatever. But this lady, there was this couple, I'm going to say 50-ish, looked a little bit older. And she starts doing this accordion motion at us. Like trying to play it, like you listen to some beats, like what's happening, right? And she was looking at us like, you need to back up. We weren't on the dot. Like I guess we were a little bit closer than 6 feet. And she's like, you need to back up and have the proper space. And I looked at my wife looked at me, and my wife is an extremely logical person. And she goes, you realize you're about to sit on a plane 3 inches from how many people? Like if you're that afraid, what are you doing in an airport?
Right.
Like where's the logic, right?
There's no logic.
It's just
it's
very
ridiculous.
strange.
It's almost like, how does your head working? Yeah.
I met a Southwest Airlines pilot. I'll leave his name off of this, but we were actually talking, and he goes, this mask thing is ridiculous. He goes, I don't even see why we're doing it on the plane. Like it's just like you're kicking people off of a flight, right? Because they're 2-year-old, and we've all had kids. A 2-year-old. You gonna tell me a 2-year-old's gonna keep a mask on their face?
No, it's ridiculous.
It's wild to me.
So when I get on a plane, I just take some food, so I can constantly put something in my mouth. I don't have to wear the mask.
Food.
I keep
bitch. It's not
snacking.
food.
Yeah,
It's a
quesadillas.
liquid.
Well, I didn't know that they weren't providing alcohol on plane anymore. I was so mad.
Wait, what?
Yes, girl, you cannot buy liquor on the plane anymore.
I think you can
Sounds
now.
like we bring our own.
No,
Well,
I just came back. I was a month. No,
No kidding.
no.
What?
I know.
Why?
I'm so pissed off.
I did get coffee. That was new. Yeah.
Yeah, I was so annoyed.
Well, we'll bring our own. We can bring the little minis.
Right, but then you have to go through
Gosh,
security, and
illegal.
if they confiscate it, if they find it.
No, that's legal. You can do it. It's a thing.
But our minis would be like 10 of them in our purse.
Okay, and bring a big person.
Thirsty.
Thursday.
Like, shh, it's okay, Stanley.
What do you think is a takeaway coming through this whole pandemic for you guys? I mean, because this has tested the resilience of a lot of just business owners and.
It's literally rotating, like
Yeah.
figuring out a way. I mean, like the to-go, yes, they had
Yes.
to-go, but like
But even
it's-
now, to go is heavy. So we
Yeah.
never were set up as a restaurant for part of it being to go.
but
You guys
they're
were
also
dining room
That's a
only.
takeaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like making you reevaluate everything, right? How else, making you get creative? How else, like even a nonprofit, how else can we raise money? What else can we do besides the normal stuff that we've been doing?
Right.
So it's making you kind of redirect the way you think.
Right. When you guys started doing to go, were you guys doing offering delivery?
Yeah.
Did you
Not
do it
personal delivery, but like
DoorDash
DoorDash
whatever.
or Favor. Yeah, we
But they
already
take
did
a
that.
pretty big cut though.
They do, but we actually took a couple of them off. We're done with you guys because they do take a cut. But then they come back and they're like, hey, look, we want to come back because you get a lot of requests for us to have you. And then
Lower their
lower their
Really?
cost. Yeah.
negotiation.
I don't think a
That's
lot
good
of
to
business owners may know that.
Yeah.
There may be a lot of small businesses that are just losing 30, 40%.
But there's a lot of delivery companies that don't do that.
Like which
We use
ones?
them, like Chow Now. They're
Okay.
literally the most favorable for us
Really?
in terms
So
of
they,
cost.
when they would do their to-go, they'd be like, whatever, something extra you would get when you use Chow Now. You can only get the special if you go through
Yes.
Chow Now.
Yeah.
So so trying to promote that, because there might be a lot of delivery services, but the masses
Like
don't
Uber
know
Eats is
about
the most
them.
expensive.
Which one?
Uber Eats
Yeah.
is the most expensive.
I think they take it's close to 40%.
And we canceled them.
Yeah.
And they came back and said they want to renegotiate. Because
Really?
there's too many people saying like, how about Ruggles Black? Why don't you do Ruggles Black? Yeah.
Would you get the percentage down to?
15.
She is in.
So for business owners that feel like they're strapped, how would they negotiate a lower percentage?
Just get off of it. Let them come back to you. Don't be afraid to do that. There's so many companies out there.
Now is
So
Chow
many.
Now, is that local?
I don't know. Is it?
I never heard of it before you started promoting it.
Yeah, I think it is local. Yeah.
Is it? Is it all over Houston or just like inner city inside the loop?
No, it's all over Houston.
Is it?
You mean out here? South
No,
Dallas?
nothing's out here.
Wow. A lot is actually out here.
I mean, you got Chewy's. That's cool. I mean, they just opened a Papacitos a few years ago, right? Ooh, 2 thumbs up.
Those fajitas, though.
They're good.
I'm telling you.
That butter.
I'm not a fan of the butter.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed. I can drink the butter. But I love butter.
A lot. My child made pancakes. She's like, okay, 14 pounds of butter. Let's
Our
do
little
this.
boy's like that.
Yeah.
Loves
love
butter.
Yeah.
Not syrup, nothing sweet.
Me neither.
Butter.
But I
Just-
like the butter.
And spice.
You want butter? You want some pancake with your butter?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Yeah, it's
He's like,
like,
wow.
dang. So, moving forward, what do you got? What are some of your goals for 2021?
Sleep.
I can get on board with that. Well, my husband says you and I need to stop drinking so much, so maybe that's one goal.
Okay, one goal is not to listen to him. That's the goal. We need a refill. I'm sitting here on my punani, an empty glass, and he hasn't even taken a sip.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, it's melted. That was a big old cube of ice.
I have
2021.
2021. I will definitely working on expansion of the concept.
It's exciting.
Yeah,
I'm like, hurry up.
how
I know
many
it's
locations?
not my money.
not mine either.
How many locations?
I want to do 3.
Yeah.
That's a quick, tough goal, but that's where my mindset is. Yeah.
Privately funded? Just
Yes.
self-funded? Yeah.
One will be privately, then I want to raise money for the other 2. Yeah.
Do you find it easier now to raise money for ventures than
No, much harder
why is that?
because of pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People's pockets are a little
Tight.
yeah.
I'm like, let go.
What's the a lot of people, they have the fantasy of like Shark Tank and people investing in their idea, but what's the real nuts and bolts of raising capital? What are a couple of pieces of advice that maybe people haven't really considered or thought of when it comes to raising money for a venture?
Yeah, they're like, oh, I've got the money. You're giving me money, but what are the sacrifices you have to deal with once you are the compromises of
Listening, like having to listen to them. And be
they're
like,
not really
"Oh."
silent partners.
Yeah. We said silent. Compromising and those kind of things, which you don't agree with, but you got to pick your battles.
For somebody that has a goal of expansion, and let's say they have 1 or 2 locations, and they're like,
Take your time. Don't expand too quick. Take your time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm doing this after 7 years almost, right? We're working on it
With 1 location.
with 1 location, but take your time. Don't be like, oh, I can open, like it's doing great this first year, 2 years. Let me go open up 2 more. Don't do that. Really get your feet
Unless
planted.
you've got real sound experience.
Yeah, but really get your feet planted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For somebody that's looking at, they want to take their bit, they think it's scalable. They want to do, let's say they've got 1 location. They want to look at doing a second, but it's going to require some additional cash they can't necessarily get a loan from, but they want to get an investor.
Mm-hmm.
What does an investor really look for in a restaurant when you're wanting to?
Success,
Right?
longevity, consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's what our people always look for.
In a restaurant scenario with its, with dining, and from what I've heard from a lot of investors, they don't necessarily look at 2020. They kind of scrap that because that's not really at the fault of the business, right? So they kind of just black mark that one out, right?
Yeah, but we show 2020 because we did great. Honestly, we really did. I mean, surprisingly, even with all that stress and fear, we did. People are just wanting to be healthy again. Like they just want to.
Yeah.
And I was shocked myself because when don't have a job or you've been laid off or whatever, like you get tight on your money, like you're going to eat at home now.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they were still. One thing that I've noticed is people don't cook at home. They are doing like these services that give you bucks at home and then you put your food together, or they eat out, but they want to eat healthy. They want to eat good. They'll spend their last dollar on that.
I think, and this is why I feel that Starbucks is recession proof, because there is a power in optics of, I might be broke as hell, but I can still afford a $5 cup of coffee.
Yes, but the thing is that it's considered a need now. It's luxury all this time, but now restaurants and coffee, it's a need now. Mm-hmm. It's not a luxury anymore. It's a need.
But even that, when you order out to a restaurant, and regardless of what somebody's lifestyle is, when you order out, let's say you're trying to pinch pennies, and some who, $1 million, money makers, and they're pinching pennies is, maybe not buy the Bentley this year. Mm-hmm. It's proportional. Mm-hmm. But going out to eat to a different restaurant is still that power purchase. It's part of that ego.
Correct.
Right? That, the world's going to shit, but I still have the ability, and I might have less money, but I'm still going to exercise some ego that I'm still in control to a degree. So I'm going to go and buy this maybe a little bit more extravagant meal. I'm going to get the appetizer too and the dessert. Like it's funny the little things that we can do, and then in the end, it's a higher transaction. It's a higher per ticket average, right? When you have these different incentives.
Correct.
Who do you really go after when it comes to your restaurant? Like your core target customer, because you are paleo, keto focused, but as you said, this is not one of those typical restaurants where it's like you're eating cardboard. Right. I mean, it's flavor and infusion and just the palate experience. Right. When you opened, how did you even market it?
We didn't have like a market. The market was everybody. When we opened, it just opened. And it was my partner, Bruce, that has a good reputation, major following. Yeah. So it started from there. But when people were like really questioning, like, what is this concept? And it was just our PR at that time, just writing articles and just experiences. Just come and experience was basically what we said. Just come and experience.
Because your social media definitely tells that visual story of the meals, right?
Because they're so pretty.
Right.
And we're not huge, like, we're not like crazy on social media because someone's got to do it. And I'm like, so yeah.
I mean, it's definitely driven for our concept, especially balanced foods. Like the Instagram especially is what's driven so much.
Which is great because it's free. It's awesome.
Well, and it's user-generated content. When customers love it, they post, they share, they want to brag, they want to tag, they want to somehow gravitate with association. They want to be like the
first to try it or the first one to love it. Yeah.
Even for a restaurant, when somebody goes and they take a picture of the food and they tag your restaurant, like that's free marketing.
Immediately.
And it's insane how that has changed the scope when word of mouth used to be.
It's a domino effect, yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. And the power of that is even for events. I mean, that's one of the things that I'm sure helps with the events after the fact or even during when you're
promotions,
doing
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And when people see pictures and stuff, they're like, oh my God, I want to be there. I want to know about it next time you do it. Please tell me. I want to come. Yeah. It does. It makes a big difference.
So what with the event planning, what's next for you guys this year?
So we do have the Jamie's Hope Golf Tournament. That's going to be in October.
So you may not work with them specifically, but you're still a part of that.
So Elevate now consults with them. Yeah.
Okay.
So usually it's in May, end of April, May, right?
Yeah.
This year's going to be in October. I think October is going to be crazy. I think this fall is going to be crazy.
For nonprofits and events.
Yeah,
and
because everyone wants to get back, everyone wants to start living life again.
Yeah.
Like everybody wants to have some kind of normalcy.
And you got the vaccine stuff all going on. And a lot
I
of
think
people
by summer we're going to see big changes.
Did you guys get the vaccine?
So.
No.
Just by choice? Just don't you not getting access or just don't want it?
Don't want it.
Don't want it.
Why is that?
I'm not a guinea pig.
Not even that. I mean, that's true too.
I'm not a guinea pig.
It's just there's other people that need it. Let's handle everybody else that needs it first.
That's such a sweet answer. That's such a sweet answer. I'm like, not bad. You ain't poking me.
We're healthy. I mean, even surprised I haven't gotten yet. Have you had COVID?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I think so too, but I don't know.
Well, I had a 3-week cough I couldn't get rid of like January, February last year. Just lingered. Just kind of couldn't shake it. And it was dry. I mean, it was the symptom of it. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Did you ever lose your sense of taste and smell?
I don't remember, to be honest.
You would remember that.
I mean,
it's
did
so
you ever test for
annoying.
antibodies?
No.
Yeah. I refuse to do that too. I'm like, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I mean, I see like 1,000 people a week, right? Like this.
I mean, I don't know.
She's
I mean,
immune.
we all have our own opinions. Mine is it's just you look at the numbers, you look at the recovery rate versus death rate, you look at the numbers and percentages. There are a lot of other more egregious killers when you combine the numbers between text and driving and cancer and things that are environmental. I mean, the flu, I mean, how many people continue to go to work when they were running a fever? They were contagious when they were another and there was no concern. And that could unintentionally put someone who was older at the same kind of risks.
Correct.
But you never had the fear factor driving it versus we're in major just media and just fear factor mode with
pandemic. It is a fear.
Yeah.
Climbing numbers. I mean, these
I don't give a shit how many numbers there are.
Are real to be. I mean, I don't know.
And I don't care how many active cases there are. It has to do with like how severe the reaction of those who are severely affected, right? If there is an issue with hospitals being, okay, yeah, I can understand stuff like that, but just the fear, just somebody having it and being like, oh, spiking cases.
Well, I think the question too that I've had, and even I've known a few doctors and those in the medical field and asked them, when somebody's diagnosed or even, cause of death and they test positive for COVID, they claim it as a COVID death.
Because they get more money.
Which is not the case.
Which overinflates numbers.
Correct.
Right.
That's 100%. I agree.
That's just my concern. Like, if we went back and, looked at test results and autopsies and, whatever they did, what was the comorbidity? Right, you're tacking COVID on with something else. The something else was the real reason, unfortunately, that person passed away.
Right.
But because they tested positive for COVID, they're now living it as a COVID death, when that wasn't the cause.
Correct.
Well, our government has given them an incentive to do that.
Well, that's the
because
unfortunate
they make
part.
more money off of claiming that it's a COVID death. So,
True.
So, how do you guys like where the Texans have been this year? A lot of change.
Oh my God,
Who?
let's not talk about it.
The Texans.
She's like,
what's that?
What's that? No, we're not talking about that.
Do you think we're going to lose JJ?
Yes, we should. Bye. Like, he needs to go. Go finish his year in a better team. This is ridiculous.
What about Deshaun?
I feel sorry for him too. That poor guy is like, I'm gonna not do anything in life with this kind of management. It sucks. I actually feel sorry for them.
What do you think is the weak link with the Texans? I mean, why do you think they've just been struggling this year for so long and they got rid of O'Brien? What do you think is it inherently the culture of the club? Like,
I plead the fifth.
Me too.
Okay, I see how it is. It's tough.
I'm about to say it, but I'm not gonna say it.
What do you think would
There's a moron on board. I'll just leave it like that.
What do you think would be one of the biggest impacts to get them back on the right track?
It starts from the top.
Mm-hmm.
It starts from the top.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's with any
New
organization.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take her anywhere.
Sorry.
Anyways, it starts from the top. So it's literally like you might have some enormously talented, amazing individuals on the team, but if you don't have the leadership in place,
it's there's
like
no leadership.
One of the interviews with JJ was like, people are showing up late. They're not coming to, for him to actually, because he's very good at keeping his mouth shut when it comes to media and stuff. But for him to say that, it's like, dude, like what the hell is going on there?
It's literally a shit show.
It is. It's sad.
It's very sad.
I ran into one of the defense coaches that just signed with the Ravens, and I'm like, oh, as much as it makes me, because I love him, like he's an amazing human being. I've known him for like 16 years, and as much of
you want to be with a winning team, or at least a team that's
Right.
wanting to go in that direction, a proper
Sure.
direction.
Yeah.
You're not even doing that here.
Right.
It's so
I
sad.
know it is sad. It sucks.
Yeah.
He's like, we'll get back. Like, it just sucks.
Mm.
And also, when you're talking about all the nonprofit stuff, so active players can't even come to the events and stuff.
Right.
Like Deshaun just opened his Philly cheesecake. What is it?
Yeah, Philly
Cheesesteak, whatever it
sandwich
is,
spot or
sandwich
whatever.
shop
Some
or whatever.
franchise that he's a part of now. Or
Okay.
something,
Yeah, so he just opened in Houston. Well, some of his players came out. They took a picture, it's like 10 of them or something. They don't have masks on. They all got fined by like the NFL.
Wow.
Like it's super
It's silly.
stupid. Like it's just they're so.
It's stupid.
So have you guys been to a game live this season?
I went to one.
Okay,
He said it
so
was depressing.
It was so depressing.
here's what's weird. So of course they pipe in audience cheering and noise on TV,
Right.
right? Are they piping that into the stadium?
No.
So it's super quiet.
yeah,
It's like
That's
a funeral.
weird. That is so strange.
yeah, it's so sad.
She
I
was
went
It's
through
hard on the
mo-
players.
She was sending me videos and pictures, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god!"
Yeah.
Like it's depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, so that's the whole point of a stadium.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
Fans.
that passion that's seeing that.
And then think
excitement.
about the most fun. Like, so we went to Super Bowl a couple years ago, and we got super drunk and we left like right before Brady started,
Nice.
killing. Okay, anyways.
Nice.
So, but the fans sucked. The people sucked at the stadium. So it's like two teams that are not your teams in the stadium. And I was always thought like, oh, Super Bowl, it's going to be so awesome. Because like Texans playoff games, the energy is insane.
It's insane.
It's so fun. Like you have the best time.
Yeah.
But like I was at Super Bowl, I'm like, this sucks. That's why we
Yeah.
got drunk. I was like, weird.
Is that why?
Yeah, we were drinking our sorrows away.
Is that why?
Yeah. Anyways, so my husband's still mad that we left the game because Brady came back and did his thing, whatever.
Cares.
Anyways, what's the point of my story?
I don't know.
The energy in the thing. So Super Bowl sucks if it's not your team.
Yeah, it was your team. You were excited about it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't even
These
feel like
randoms.
Texas
I'm
on my
like,
team right now either.
I felt violated that they were in our stadium. I'm like, get out.
Yeah, she was getting a little cuckoo.
Weird. Anyways.
A little protective.
But so like you think about like the playoff games now, I'm like, that's so sad. Like you have all of that energy, that experience that you normally have, and now you're just like, it's crap.
Well, same thing with basketball.
I don't know anything about that sport.
One thing about the loss of sales revenue too, of just concessions
yeah.
and tickets,
Huge.
and I mean, what do they? My question is, what do they know about season ticket holders?
So what they did this year was they gave everybody at the beginning, they're like, if you want to opt out of this year, like contact us, blah, blah, blah. You can opt out of this year. And then they went from like the ones who very first purchased like the PSLs and the season tickets from 2012 or whatever, 2002. And then asked them, like gave them options on seats. But like the first 10 rows are completely blocked off. So if you had any of those seats, then you just have to choose a different place.
Wow.
So like Jamie's husband, Garrick, he chose 50-yard line club level seats.
Right.
So, which are good seats, but it's not front row behind the bench seats.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
no,
even then, it'd be so boring to be there anyways because
it
it's
is
like
so sad.
dead.
I mean, you could heckle and they would definitely hear you.
For sure.
They hear you anyways.
Yeah, but they really hear you. Oh, they hear you from club level.
No, for real.
Yeah.
You can hear them.
Even
Like
some of
yelling.
our friends that are bartenders there, they're saying that. She goes, it's just depressing.
People can't stand at the
can't
bar,
even stand
like
at the
club
bar.
level bars.
Yeah.
Like
Can't
you
even
can't
stand
stand there. You got to get your drink, and if you're talking too long, somebody will come along and tell you to
Just have to
move.
move.
Like it's
Crazy
just
times.
stupid. It's so stupid.
It's too excessive.
I got angry. I got like sitting
I saw
there.
the anger.
I was like depressed. Like I'm like all of these emotions. Like what have they done to?
And I don't even know when this is going to bounce back 100%. Like, I don't even know when that's going to happen.
I don't think really anybody does, to be honest. I mean, Governor Newsom just lifted the ban on salons being closed and so now allowing to open, which changed over 2 weeks ago.
Nothing.
Election.
Well, that,
Mm.
yeah.
I don't know. I am not a conspiracy theorist. Nobody is here, but we're critical thinkers. We're logical, trying to connect the
I don't
dots.
know. I can be sometimes.
It's just strange,
Yeah.
you know, when you look at how this whole thing has gone, and just the horrible impact that
5,
it's made on
6 years
people's.
from now, we're going to really get the truth.
Yeah, I think
The truth
I
is
think
gonna
so.
come out, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a little bit harder before it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, for those that are not prepared or thinking strategically, you know, I mean, for like you guys, you know, with Ruggles, you guys have had measures in place to remain profitable, to pivot,
Yeah.
where a lot of others didn't think they could or try to do some things that could help their business. But on the event side, I mean, if players are being fined when they're getting together in front of a fellow player's business opening, I mean, it kind of restricts. I mean, you have a gala that now you have 6 foot social distancing between everybody at tables,
And some of them have done that. But these are also foundations who have been around for 20 plus years that raise millions of dollars, right?
Right.
So they have a following that's going to give no matter what,
Right.
right? So ours is smaller foundations that we work with and the players that are really, hands-on. And so that's extremely hard. I mean, if you go to one of our events, which get it together.
Rude.
But if you go to one of our events, they're very high energy. They're very it's very social. It's not sit down, have dinner, listen to. It's not. That's not how we do things. So it's a major.
it's an experience.
Yeah,
100%,
absolutely.
yeah.
So it's. I don't even want to do it. Like if not, but we just little things that we've had to do, just kind of like help out our partners, our foundation partners, like
Right.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. But
You guys will come through okay though.
as far as Elevate,
Mhm.
we're fine.
Duh. We can still afford vodka bottles.
Bottle service all day long.
Yes. Well, that's free.
For those, and I'm going to say female entrepreneurs that are kind of losing some hope, what encouragement or advice would you give them to be able to get through this right now and get some hope back, get back on their feet, get their business maybe on an upward trend, where they feel like they can't seem to get their footing? What encouragement
Don't
would you
give
give to
up.
them?
Just mentally try to stay strong.
Reach out to your resources. Figure
Yeah.
out what you've got in front of you. What can you use?
Listen to inspiration stuff that kind of builds you up again. Like, but don't give up.
We have a girlfriend of ours that she's rebranding through this time, like her PR company.
Oh yeah.
And opened up an office, but she's just like, screw it, I'm going to go full force, and I'm going to
make this happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. Like this, it's all about your mental state.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get that right.
So how do people connect with Elevate?
Then just our website, elevatemanagementgroup.com.
Okay. They want to help, volunteer, contribute, whatever, they can get in touch with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our contact information's on
Social media, it's all on there.
Do you guys run your social media on that?
She does.
I haven't done it for a long time. I do it when it's event driven. So like if we have something coming up, or every once in a while I'll
There's
post
messages
something,
on there. You check them and stuff.
Oh
like
yeah.
But
What about Ruggles? For people that maybe haven't been there before.
Come on by.
Where can they find you?
next to Twin Peaks.
Kirby 59. Your face light up again. Yeah, just social media, Google, internet. It's very Googleable.
Gotcha. So, funny story. I actually did consulting for Twin Peaks when they first started in Dallas.
Wow.
So you got those peaks right.
Well, what's funny is the original outfit was designed by the girl that did the Dallas Cowboy cheerleader
Looks
costumes.
like that too. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It really does.
But it was a converted rockfish restaurant up in Louisville, and the guy that used to be a GM for Hooters. Go figure.
Well, weren't they split as owners, and then he started Twin Peaks, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah. They brought in this chef that just did a great menu, and they were about to do store number 2, but I came in to do a little bit of consulting on design and menu and that kind of thing. So
interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess you're gonna have to come visit the one by my restaurant.
I mean, I've been to the one here in Shenandoah. It's funny.
Shenandoah.
Yeah. The Woodlands.
Oh my God.
It's like
so
2
funny.
streets.
Yeah, y'all are funny. But yeah. So what's your address for Ruggles Black?
3963 Kirby Drive.
Okay.
Think about that.
And I'll put the handles for your social for you guys too in this. But any final thoughts?
You should let your listeners know when you're going to be at Ruggles Black, so maybe they come by and say hi to you.
Oh, yeah. Or you could do like an off-site podcast from Ruggles Black.
Hey, that's an idea.
Hey, Wade could be your guest.
That would be cool.
Wade loves Ruggles Black.
Loves Ruggles Black.
Does he?
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool.
Not
actually.
just because he's black.
We can set that up whenever you want. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
He'd be a really good guest.
There, honestly, for so many people, it's the come up. I mean, this whole thing is, discussions with winning underdogs. When you guys are, it's taken.
Look, whatever's going on in life, you just gotta have a positive attitude.
Even when shit's super hard,
super down, you gotta find a way and surround yourself with a positive people around you. Keeps you up, keeps you lifted.
That can also help you see the good in what you're doing and outlook.
Don't get us wrong. There's been plenty of moments when there's been fetal position in the shower crying. Many moments.
How do you step out of that?
But you got to let it out. I mean, you have to let that out. But then you got to dry yourself off and just keep on moving forward. Just got to keep moving forward. Can't go backwards.
Because the result is regretting not giving everything you've got to it.
And I did have a life coach the one time that told me that feelings are like a fart. They come and they go, and sometimes they leave a stench. So you can't give in to your feelings.
Every time she tells me, I can't. She said
not like a life coach.
Feelings are like a fart.
Well, what was your therapist, Garfield? That's pretty good, but that's funny. Wow.
What's your therapist, Garfield?
That's one of the wisest words she's ever said from the stage.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Stanley, feelings are like a fart. This too shall pass.
So another female entrepreneur, if you will, in Houston that I recently came across is Brene Brown. You guys know of her? She wrote the book Daring Greatly in a series of other books. She's a professor at U of H.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just knew her from her books.
Well, she had the #1 TED Talk.
Okay.
Right,
Wow.
to date. Yeah, it's amazing. I'll send you the link to it.
I would
Okay,
love to hear
awesome.
that.
Which
yeah.
TED Talk is 18 minutes, and you got to sum up your thing, right?
Yeah.
Incredibly powerful.
Wow. Yeah. Please do send us the link. I would love to.
Yeah. I think, and that's why we wanted to focus on people in Houston, because the true game changers and the stories of up and comers,
It's local.
it's immense.
Yeah.
how many incredible stories. I mean, yes, you look at the Tillman Fertittas and all that, but even that from a guy that opened up his first hotel when he was 26 years old. I mean, and just his goals that he had, and he kept reaching them. And that's, even why asking you guys, what are your goals? Because if we don't have goals, what do we have? We lose that sense of purpose, right? If we don't have a purpose, we don't have a way to feel progress. And without progress, we're not building our self-confidence.
You're also putting yourself in this form of depression, which you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's from a lack of feeling you have a purpose.
Right.
Right. It's dark. You've just
Can
kind
get
of
very dark.
It's like a pond that there's no moving water. It just gets stale. It just starts to just become this cesspool. That's not good for anybody. Right. And I think
not just for yourself, but your surroundings, your family, like everything.
I think for anybody to, if they find themselves in a funk and they feel themselves stale, whether in their business and their life and their goals, whatever it may be, is find somebody who's making progress. Align yourself with them.
Surround yourself with, you have to.
People that are genuine. I mean, a lot of people that are very disingenuine and they're looking of, who can kind of boss over them. But the people that are making moves that you can go, I mean, because I think like for you two, I mean, you two found each other, right? And have just feed off the strength of each other, and it's kind of the yin and yang. Even at look of, I don't know if you guys have ever thought of this, but of kind of a female mentorship of young up and coming, female entrepreneurs in this city to give, spread your insight and help, even if it's just, the connection of, hey, if I ever have a question, can I run it by you kind of thing, whether it's a Facebook group or your podcast you guys are going to do or something that allow you guys to take, I mean, you look at your journeys that you've had so far, right? And the things that you guys have faced, the things that you have overcome. There's so many things that we still have to live through, but up until this point, you're 500 steps in, somebody that's one step in, it's like, man, if I can only be where they are, right? It is making yourself somehow accessible to those that need a beacon.
Yeah. We actually do have a lot of people that reach out to us about when they're starting nonprofits or if they should start or, that kind of stuff.
You kind of help guide people through that a little bit?
Yeah. So it's just,
sure.
especially, I have a meeting with somebody tomorrow about that. So it's just, we'll have a lot of people that, a lot of times I'm like, don't do it. You have no idea what you're doing. It's going to suck for a while.
Yeah. You'll be able to weather the storm.
Yeah.
But the realities help people understand what they're about to face.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Versus,
exactly.
I think some people will just not tell you just to watch you fail.
That's
or see if you
terrible.
will
That's
fail.
a super shitty person.
There's a lot of people out there like that. They want to just see if you fall on your face. Yeah, that is true.
Wow.
Get their popcorn, get their drink. Oh, watch this.
Yeah.
Like, you suck as a
That's
human.
a restaurant industry for me. Not anymore, but it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Just waiting, like, let's wait till it shuts down. There were bets going.
I wish I wasn't on that bed. I would have won.
Ladies, thank y'all.
Yeah, thank
coming
you
on
for having
today.
us.
Really appreciate you sharing your story.
Thanks for sending the chopper, and so we don't have to
Thanks
drive.
for indulging us.
It's the least we could do.
Thanks for the drinks.
Hey,
Such a good swallower.
Wow.
And on that note, you're welcome.
And we're out. No, Neera, Amanda, thank you guys for coming in today.
Thank you for having us.
Really enjoyed getting to know
fun.
you
Yeah.
guys. I mean, you and I go way back, but I'm still trying to remember where we first connected.
Oh God, I don't know.
It must have been some kind of club event or something.
Yeah.
And I was, 9-10 years ago or something. It seems like a lot of life in those years.
A lot of life.
Yeah.
10 years. Think about 10 years. Shit you've done in 10 years. A lot.
But thank y'all. Really means a lot.
It was fun.
Appreciate you coming on. All right, guys. You want to connect? The links down below in the comments. Say hi. Follow them. Go to Ruggles. And, if you want to be a part of a great cause that's helping connect athletes with great NPOs and great causes, if you want to help, Elevate Management Group. Is that right?
Sorry.
Thanks for tuning in. See you guys next time.